lovelies, I'm back. I'm finally back on this channel. I have been uploading on my vlogging channel, so hopefully I've not been too missed on this one. But if you didn't know I had a vlogging channel, then you've got loads of videos to catch up on, and there's tons of footage of Delilah. But I'm now finally back on this channel, and it feels really good to just sit down and chat to the camera. It's taken me a little while to get back to this channel, just because obviously having a baby takes up a lot of my time, and it's a lot easier to film my day for my vlogging channel than it is to find the time and the peace and quiet to set up the equipment and sit and chat with you guys for half an hour or whatnot. I feel like I'm getting pretty organised with bits and bobs now, and somehow finding the time to edit the vlogs. And then the last little bit to getting life organised is getting back to this channel. Delilah's asleep at the moment, but it is Sunday, so Doug's home, which means if she wakes up, Doug can look after her for a little bit. I wanted to talk about my labour and delivery. I did a birth vlog, so if you want to see the birth vlog, it is on my other channel. I'll link it in the description and put it somewhere on the screen. So yeah, there is a birth vlog if you haven't seen it already, but I did want to talk through my whole birth experience. It's been requested a lot, and I thought it was a perfect video to come back to. I have actually filmed this before, about 2 months ago I want to say, but I made no notes. I did it all off the top of my head, and I missed out really vital information like pain relief and when my water's broke and stuff. So I didn't feel particularly happy with the video, and I wanted to make sure I was really happy with it, so I've just waited to refilm it. Not a great start to being back though, because my battery is flashing. It's okay, I have another one behind me which is fully charged. Let me change the battery. Hang on. Whew. Right, it would have been the 27th of July, and it was 4 days past my due date. I was due on the 23rd, so I was due on the Saturday. 1, 2, 3, 4, yes, I was 4 days late already. I woke up at about I think it was like 4:30 in the morning. It was just before Doug woke up for work. I woke up and I had this kind of ache in my tummy, kind of like this dull kind of period pain ache. The lighting's gone really dark, hasn't it? Hang on, let me whack up the lighting. This is all going to be very hit and miss, this video. Oh, that's too dark. Is that better? That'll have to do. So anyway, I kind of had this dull ache, but I didn't think much of it because, as you know, towards the end of your pregnancy, you get quite a lot of aches and pains, a lot of Braxton Hicks, and a lot of the time you're thinking, is this it? Is this it? And it normally isn't. But there was something in the back of my head that thought that this might be it. I also said to people that I reckon I'm going to go into labour in the morning of the Wednesday, and I did. Doug got up and said goodbye to me, and before he left I said, you might get a phone call later. I don't know if I'm in labour, but I might be. He went off to work. There was no point in him staying, because if it was a false alarm, then he's missed a day of work. And if it wasn't a false alarm, which it wasn't, I knew I wasn't gonna, well, I was about 90% sure that I wasn't gonna have the baby super duper quickly. I tried to go back to sleep, but I kept getting these, they weren't even really cramps, they were just aches. So I couldn't go back to sleep, which was really annoying because I'd only had maybe 3 hours sleep. So I ran myself a nice bath with a bath bomb, and I had my bath, I had some breakfast, and then I noticed that my, what would have been early contractions, were definitely starting to become a bit more rhythmic. I think I remember getting sort of a cramp feeling, and then 20 minutes later I got another one, and then it was 15 minutes later I got another one, and then it was sort of every 15 minutes, and then it was sort of every 13 minutes. So I did start to time them on my phone. I had this app, and I can't think what the app was called. I did mention what the app was called in my birth vlog, so if you really want to know what that app was, then it's in that video. But yeah, that was handy because I just clicked start on my phone to time the contraction, and then stop when the contraction stopped, and I just kept doing that, sort of timing them. I just carried on with my day. I kept Doug up to date with what was going on, and I said, yeah, I'm definitely having contractions now, so maybe come home at lunchtime. He works in London, so it takes him quite a while to get back in the car. So although he left at lunchtime, he didn't get back until about 4 in the evening. I watched some TV, I did my makeup, I called my mum because she was also going to be there in the hospital with us. So Douglas being my partner, if you didn't know who Doug was, sorry, I'm capable at explaining this. I feel like, I know there's going to be quite a lot of new people probably watching this video, and you're going to be going, who's Doug? Who's Delilah? So yeah, my mum and Douglas were my birthing partners, so I called my mum to say I'm definitely in labour, get yourself ready so that when we're going to the hospital, she's ready to get in the car and come meet us. So yeah, I was actually doing quite well. I was just going around my usual business. I made myself lunch. I think I had pasta because I wanted carbohydrates but easy digesting food, because I had read that your digestive system slows down in labour because your body wants to focus on getting this baby out and not digesting food. So I wanted stuff that was going to give me energy but not make me be sick. Every time I got a contraction, I'd just have to stand for a little bit and breathe and stop what I was doing, and then I would be fine and I'd carry on, and then I'd have another contraction. So I was doing really well, to the point where I thought, is this actually labour? Maybe this is just a false alarm. Dad got home and contractions started to get a little bit more intense. I went on my birthing ball, he rubbed my back a bit. It was probably the worst thing I could have eaten, but I really fancied a pot noodle, so I had a pot noodle for dinner. Later on, that was definitely a big mistake. Fast forward to about 8 o'clock in the evening. It had been, what, sort of 14 hours since I'd woken up with contractions now? Hang on, that's not right. 16 hours. It had been about 16 hours since I'd woken up, so I was pretty tired by this time. Contractions started to get really intense, so I called up the hospital and they asked me how often my contractions were, and they said, no, don't bother coming in until you've got about 3 contractions every 10 minutes. So I thought, oh my gosh, I don't know how I'm going to deal with this, because they were getting really bad. And I'd done really well throughout the whole day, whole morning, whole afternoon, early evening. I was handling them well, and then all of a sudden it was just like, no, I cannot cope. I ran myself a bath. Obviously I didn't have a bath bomb or anything. Oh, another thing, see, I'm missing stuff out already. Around 6 o'clock in the morning kind of confirmed that I was in labour or early labour, because not only was I getting regular contractions, when I went to the loo, my mucus plug started to come out. So it didn't come out in one big blob, but it did just start to come out in little stringy bits. It's kind of just like clear snot. Yum. With bits of red in. So because that started to come away, I thought, oh yeah, I'm definitely in labour. But people can lose them weeks before they give birth. They can lose them and remake them, reproduce them. Mine didn't make an appearance until I was in labour, so I knew definitely something was happening. So yeah, anyway, fast forward back to my bath. Doug was just sat next to me whilst I was in the bath, and he was timing the contractions on my phone. The bath really didn't help me. I know it helps a lot of people, and I really was trying to breathe, and I'm quite good with managing pain, but it just got to the point where I couldn't deal with it, and I don't know whether I was just overly tired or whether the pain was just now really intense. I got out and I said, Doug, call the hospital. We're going in, because I can't handle this any longer. I didn't even think I could walk to the car. That's how bad they were getting. We got into the car. It took me a while, but I got in. I remember I was getting so many contractions. They were so close to each other now, probably every couple of minutes. Walking from the car to the labour ward, it wasn't fun. I just kept having to stop, and I almost just wanted to curl up on the floor. But yeah, we got to the hospital. They put us in one of the rooms where they examine people, and they told me that I'd probably get sent home because they didn't think that I was contracting enough, or they weren't intense enough, because they thought I wasn't very far along and I was probably making more out of them than needed to be. They took ages to come see us, so I'm sat in the room. I don't know what to do with myself. I'm on and off the toilet because I feel like I need to poo, but I didn't. I'm like sitting on the bed, I'm sitting on the chair, I'm sitting on one of these balls. I didn't know what to do with myself. I was in so much pain. By this point, I was kind of kicking my legs on the floor and like making animal noises. I know in my birth vlog I came across really calm. That was because Doug wasn't very good at filming anything, and obviously I wasn't thinking about filming when I was in pain and having a contraction. So the birth vlog comes across as really calm. I wasn't really. I mean, I think I was quite calm because obviously the midwives didn't think that my contractions were bad. A nurse came in, she started to do some swabs and listened into the baby, and I'm thinking, can you just examine me please? I'm in so much pain. Someone finally came in and examined me. I was hoping I'd maybe be 3-4 centimetres. I was almost 8 centimetres dilated. 8 centimetres. They want you to be at 10 centimetres when you push. The other lady who came in, who said she'd probably send me back home, came in and said, oh, I hear you're pretty much 8 centimetres. You're doing really well, like you're really calm. And I'm thinking, I am not calm right now. They moved me to the delivery room where I met my midwife, who then delivered my baby. I had a really lovely male midwife who I recently found out he's expecting a baby with his wife, which is really lovely. So yeah, we got into the delivery suite. It was one of those rooms that are meant to be really relaxing. It had in the corner these big old tubes that made bubbles and had different lights, but they were really noisy, and I just remember saying, can you please turn those off? They are really annoying. I didn't have a specific birth plan. I said I try gas and air. I don't want any drugs, like I didn't want any pethidine or anything, but worst comes to worst, I'll have an epidural. And I did pretty much end up sticking to that plan because I tried gas and air, and it's really odd. I needed someone to tell me how to use it properly. I didn't really know what I was doing. When you breathe it in, it's really cold and it tastes weird and it makes your mouth really dry. I think I tried to take it in twice, and with what I did take in, it made me feel really weird, and I didn't like it. I couldn't bring myself to really commit and breathe it in, so that just wasn't going to happen. I said absolutely, yeah, don't want the gas and air. So I said, please can I have an epidural? And honestly, by this point I was in so much pain, I did not care that I was going to get a giant ass needle put into the middle of my back. The only thing that made me feel better was sitting on the toilet. I kept going to the toilet because for some reason, like, the positioning of it just made it feel more comfortable. I'm really aware that this lighting is getting bad now because it's getting dark. Yay for winter. Oh, before I got examined, I was sitting on the bed and I remember saying to Doug, I don't feel too good. And I knew, you know when you don't feel too good and then all of a sudden you think, no, I'm going to be sick. So I got up off the bed, went to go be sick in the sink because I couldn't make it to the toilet. I kind of just projectile vomited my pop needle all over the wall and the sink. So yeah, that happened. I said to the midwife, I'm really sorry, but I've just thrown up all over your wall. But apparently a lot of people do it, so I didn't feel too bad. But yeah, anyway, I was amazed at how quickly the anaesthetist came down to do my epidural. Because I was getting an epidural, they had to take blood tests and also put a cannula. Was it a cannula? Is it a cannula? Oh gosh, I don't know. A thingy in my arm. I think it was here, because it's less painful on your arm than it is in your hand, so I could have fluids. Then the anaesthetist came down within half an hour. I managed to stay still long enough for him to disinfect my back, put the anaesthetic in, which was a bit stingy, but then after that you don't feel the epidural go in. What you do feel is quite a lot of pressure, which did make me cringe a little bit, but I just wanted the pain to go away. I couldn't care. Also by this time my mum had arrived, so my mum was in the room. And then before I knew it, the pain started to subside. It took about half an hour to work. I had one of these mobile epidurals. I could feel most of my body. I could still feel the contractions. I could still feel tightening, but it wasn't painful. They then said I had to see if I could wee. Otherwise, if I couldn't wee, they'd have to put a catheter down there with a wee bag so that obviously my body could get rid of the urine without me going to the toilet. And I said, no, I really don't want one of those. So I got up and I managed to walk to the toilet door. I'm holding on to one of those stands that have the epidural fluids and just the normal saline, not saline solution, just the fluids that they give you to hydrate you. I'm so sorry, like all the technical words have left my brain right now because I'm aware that Delilah's going to want feeding soon and I'm trying to be quick. So yeah, I was holding on to that as I was going to the loo. My knees felt so weird. They felt like jelly, but I could just about feel them enough to walk. But I think getting up and walking made it go around my body a bit more. Because by the time I got to the toilet door, out of nowhere, my knees just collapsed and I just collapsed into a heap on the floor. And I was just holding onto this stand. I was like, help me. And Doug had to come and pick me up and put me on the toilet. And I tried so hard to wee, I really did, but I couldn't wee. It was the strangest sensation. So I had to have a wee bag, which actually I couldn't feel a thing. It's not that uncomfortable. And when they took it out the next day, yeah, it would have been the next day. Again, you really don't feel anything, so if you have to have one of those, don't worry, they're not that bad. So yeah, once my epidural kicked in, it was great. Again, I could feel the tightenings and sometimes I had to sort of breathe through them, but really I felt wonderful. It then, at that time, it kind of got a bit slow. It was sort of from about 2 o'clock in the morning until about 4 o'clock in the morning. We all just sat there having a natter. My midwife stayed there the whole time monitoring me, and we all just sat there and had a natter about holidays and babies, and it was all just really calm, and my mum and Doug are sat there thinking, well, this is a bit calm, a bit chill. I think they were expecting screaming and lots of exciting stuff happening. But then around 4:30, my midwife said, yep, you're 10 centimetres, let's start pushing. Up until then, I'd had every urge to push. Even with an epidural, I had the urge to push. But they said, no, 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 don't push yet. Even though, like, I hadn't been examined, I probably was at 10 centimetres. But they only examine you every 4 hours. Annoyingly, the urge to push had gone. I'd stopped administrating my epidural and I could feel more, but I still couldn't feel the urge to push. I remember sort of being helped to turn round to lean over the back of the bed because I wanted to be upright to push. It was really difficult because I couldn't feel my legs. So all 4 people that were in the room, so the midwife, Doug and my mum, well, 3 people, and myself, had to sort of manoeuvre myself around this bed. And I was pushing and I honestly couldn't feel anything, and it was the weirdest sensation. But like I said, a couple of hours ago, I would have been fine doing it, even though the epidural was stronger at the time. I don't know how that works. I really couldn't feel anything, so the midwife sort of examined me as I pushed to see whether, like, he could feel me pushing properly, and he said I was pushing absolutely fine. So even though it didn't hurt and I couldn't feel the contractions, I could feel the tightening, like I said. So every time I felt a tightening, I'd push. I then turned back round onto, not my back, I was still sitting up, but I just sat back down. And then before I knew it, 2 hours had gone. Delilah kept getting examined and they kept monitoring her heartbeat, and she was absolutely fine. There was not one moment that her heartbeat dropped or anything scary like that. She was great. She was just happy chilling in there. My waters still hadn't broken. Exactly the same with my mum. My mum's waters didn't break until the very end either. To help hurry things along and to help Delilah come down more, they broke my waters for me. I didn't really feel anything, but that was probably because I had the epidural. You just heard this kind of like whoosh, and they all came out. I'd also thrown up a couple of times. I think I threw up maybe once before I started, or when I'd started pushing. Yeah, I threw up once when I was pushing. I was shaking a lot as well. I think it was the adrenaline, the tiredness, the epidural, everything. I was just shaking, even though I felt really warm. Everyone said I felt really cold, and I couldn't work out whether I was shaking because of the adrenaline or whether I was cold, but I felt really warm. It was very strange. I just remember I couldn't stop shivering. 2 hours had passed and they said, right, Rhiannon, you've got to really try hard now, which really peeved me off because I was trying hard. I think Delilah got a little bit stuck because she just got to the point where she just wasn't coming down anymore. They called in someone who brought in those Von-2s, so basically the little suction cup that goes onto the top of her head that helps to pull her out. That's when it all got a little bit chaotic because several other people came in. They had to perform an episiotomy on me. That's when they have to, I mean, you can just Google it, but that's when they have to snip you, and I had quite a big cut. By this time my epidural had worn off a lot. The lady who did it said, oh, you've got an epidural, so I can just go ahead, can't I? And I said, no, 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 I can feel stuff down there now. I've not had it for a long time. So she gave me an injection of local anaesthetic, and also I administrated my epidural again. But she didn't leave it long enough and she cut before any of it had time to work. And oh my gosh, I felt that cut and I heard it as well, and I haven't been able to let it leave my memory. I can still hear and feel it, and I just, oh, it's horrible. And my mum was at the far end of the bed. Doug was up here. My mum was down there, and she saw it and she said that it has just scarred her for life seeing that. She was like, it doesn't matter how old your children are, seeing them like in a situation like that is just, oh, it's just horrendous. And then it just happened so quickly. They did my episiotomy, they put the Von-2s on her head, and they only have a couple of tries with the Von-2s because obviously they can't keep tugging on the baby's head because that's not good for their neck. So as I got a contraction, the lady pulled and I pushed, and it took 1 or 2 attempts, and Delilah came straight out. And I remember looking down, because by this time they'd taken half the bed away and put my legs up in stirrups. As I pushed, I saw this little head come out, and I'm thinking, okay, Rhiannon, if you go, oh my God, which is what I wanted to do, you're not going to be pushing. So I remember thinking, right, don't freak out, just keep pushing and keep pushing. And then I saw this little hand also creep up above her head, and I'm thinking, oh my God. And then we did a final push and she came straight out. And then I remember just, oh, gotten a bit emotional for some reason. Wasn't expecting that. I remember just going, baby, 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 oh my god, my baby, which we didn't get on camera, which was really annoying. Yeah, and she was just there. Why am I emotional? Jeez. I had a bit of a cuddle with her whilst everyone was down there probably getting things sorted. I did have an injection in my leg to help my placenta come out, and that came out perfectly fine and really quickly. I lost a lot of blood. I was very close to technically hemorrhaging, so I lost a lot of blood, and my mum said it was literally all over the floor. Obviously I don't remember any of it. I all of a sudden came over really faint and cold and dizzy, and someone had to take Delilah off of me because I didn't want to drop her. I then threw up again. Delilah got checked over. I opted to give her a vitamin K injection. So she had a little injection. It didn't bother her at all. She had and still has the biggest set of lungs. I know a lot of people say, oh yeah, she's got a set of lungs. But the midwife said no, Delilah really has a set of lungs. She was screaming and screaming, and even now, compared to all the babies I know, Delilah has the loudest cry. Yeah, she was crying away, and then I gave her a cuddle and we had skin to skin, and then within a couple of minutes of her being out, she latched on because I wanted to give breastfeeding a try, and as a lot of you may know, I'm still breastfeeding her, and she latched on like that. It was just crazy that she knew what to do. Yeah, she just latched on straight away, and she was on there for probably about an hour. That's pretty much it. Whilst I was having cuddles with her, I was getting stitched up, which, may I add, also felt that. That wasn't very nice. I felt all of that. Still don't quite feel right down there. The hoo-ha region feels fine, but the actual, like, where I was stitched up, I feel like a lot of the nerves are a bit messed up. I don't know, it just feels very odd down there, and yeah. I did find the whole experience quite traumatic. I know lots of people say you forget the pain, and I'd say yes, I've forgotten what the pain feels like, because even between contractions I forgot what the pain felt like. It is a hard pain to explain, but I do know in my head that there's no way I want to do that again. I think if I'd had more sleep the night before, maybe I might have handled it a bit better. Looking back on it now, I wish I'd asked to go into a birthing pool, just waited. I reckon within an hour or two I would have been ready to push. But, you know, hindsight and all. I don't regret my decision to have an epidural. I don't regret anything, but it was still quite traumatic for me. Okay, we are completely losing the lighting now because it's 4:30 and it's almost dark outside. Before I go, do you all want to see Delilah? Although she is in a bit of a cranky mood. I can hear her and I know she wants feeding. But I'll bring her in and we'll see how we go. Oh, hello, Scratch. Oh, she's really sleepy. You're normally all upright. Okay, so this is Delilah. Doesn't really know what to do with yourself, do you? Oh. Okay, let's do this quickly because she's not in a good mood. So this is Delilah. Usually when people do these videos, they're newborns, but Delilah is... Hello. Delilah is now 15.5 weeks. She'll be 4 months in a couple of weeks, which is crazy, isn't it? Was born at 6:42 in the morning on July 28th. Where are you? Oh! I think I'm talking a bit loudly for her as well. She doesn't like that. She was born weighing 7 pounds 9 ounces, so a little bit bigger than I was. Way bigger than Douglas was because he's a twin, so he was only about 5 pounds. But yeah, I was born weighing 7 pounds and she was 9 ounces more. She normally has a lot better head control than this, but I think she's a bit grumpy and she's just given up on everything. In the mornings and early afternoon, she's always in a lovely mood. And actually, if I fed her now, she'd be really happy. But the lighting's going, so we're gonna go. Some people have these wonderful labours and they find it really empowering. I really didn't enjoy it, and the aftermath, the recovering, was 10 times worse as well. I really didn't have a good time with it. Although I found the whole experience quite negative, I don't want that to put anyone off. Everyone's labour is different, and at the end of the day, it happens and then it's over. Like, it's in the past now. You know, I don't have to deal with it. And if I don't want to do it again, I don't have to. But you know what? If I do decide to have another little one, then that labour may be completely different. You don't know, but I would love to hear your experiences and how your labours went. But yeah, anyway, she really needs feeding, so I'm gonna go. Sorry this video was a bit of a shambles, but I'm back. The next video will be better, I promise. Let me know what kind of stuff you want to see from me. Anyway, I've got to go because she is wanting the booby. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye. She's a bit happier now because she's had a feed. so I thought we'd try that again. Like I said, she was born at £7 9 ounces, and she is now at at 13 weeks she was £14 1 ounce, so she's probably about 14.5 pounds now. So yeah, she's over a stone. She is a little bit of a chunk, aren't you?
Hello.
You know the camera's there, don't you? You know the camera's there. Shall we go up? Shall we go? We're gonna go, and I will see you in. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.